Hello there friends, CS News Live here. In today's video, Valve is killing the tier 2 scene, the interview with the creator of CS, Min Lee, Falcons getting eliminated from their very first tournament, more visa issues for pro players, and in the end the most fun and exciting matches of Blast Bounty online stage. And surely a couple of more interesting news from the world of CS2, so without further ado, let's get straight to it. And yeah, my friends, again, I've read the comments from the previous video and I will tell you that I'm not an AI voice, and if you want me to do a face reveal, just hit the 2k likes with this video. It's not that hard, just pre-fire it and that's all. Anyways, now let's get back to the news. And I think we shall start with something pretty sad, to be honest, because while some are working on creating new leagues, Valve seems to be determined to dismantle the existing ones. So recently, Valve announced that tournaments of CCT and Yala series will no longer affect Valve rankings. This decision came after tournament organizers failed to invite certain teams that were supposed to be included based on Valve rankings, also known as VRS. However, the underlying issue was that some players from those teams were shadow banned due to suspicions of cheating or match fixing. For instance, Monte wasn't invited to CCT events because of allegations against Damq, who was suspected of cheating and participating in rigged matches. Similar issues arose with other tournament operators, leading Valve to classify these tournaments as non-ranked events. And this decision has caused quite a stir. CCT was actively fighting against cheaters and match fixers, and now, ironically, their exclusion from the rankings might flood tier 2 tournaments with even more of them. I mean, first Valve partially removed open qualifiers, making it harder for tier 2 teams to qualify for top tier events, and now this move risks further destabilizing the tier 2 scene at all entirely by making it more accessible to cheaters. Guys, what do you think will happen to the tier 2 scene this year? Will it survive under these circumstances, or are we witnessing its decline? I mean, CCT and Yala were pretty much important. Anyways, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Speaking of esports official news, Valve has recently introduced a new one regarding regional qualifiers. Now, teams will receive invitations to qualifiers based on the region where they've played the most throughout the year. Additionally, regional rankings will also influence these invitations. For example, I will explain. If Wildcard Gaming, for example, is ranked in the top 5 in Americas but isn't in the top 10 in Europe, they will have to compete in American qualifiers. This basically opens up some interesting possibilities, such as, for example, Liquid potentially receiving a direct invite if they rank first in Asia and second in the Americas. More to this, there's a chance that teams like, for example, the Mongols might end up playing in the European Armors, as they spend most of their time participating in international tournaments like EPL, for example. So basically Valve deleted the Armors, but still made the teams to play in their own regions, not caring if there are any tournaments at all. Well, anyways, what's left for us is to see what will happen. And yeah, my friends, don't forget that we have a Twitter account where we post all the breaking news first. You can find the link to our Twitter account in the description, and also don't forget to follow our channel. Thanks! I'm not gonna stop talking about Valve because they have recently made headlines not only with the new rules and restrictions, but also for their delayed response to major bugs. One data miner discovered an exploit that allows players to replace any texture in the game with custom ones, which effectively creates a wall hack, a legal one, without using external programs. The data miner reported this issue to the developers, but Valve simply ignored him. What's worse, VAC, Valve Anti-Cheat, just doesn't detect this kind of texture replacement, because how could it? It's not external. To make matters even trickier, players can alter only specific parts of textures, making the exploit harder to identify. Despite multiple attempts by the data miner to bring this to Valve's attention, the exploit still remains functional. I mean, I'm not sure that anyone from Valve watches our channel, but guys, if you do, please fix it. But honestly, who am I kidding? kidding. And now, my friends, let's finally shift focus from Valve. Now, let's talk about ninjas in pajamas, who once again made headlines for the wrong reasons. In their new roster's debut, they suffered an embarrassing loss to Cybershock. Adding fuel to the fire, former NIP coach Thread claimed that the org transitioned to an international lineup because, quote, there are no strong players left in Sweden. This statement sparked an immediate reaction, specifically from the former NIP player Draken, who is now competing with Johnny Spitz. He straightforwardly criticized the Ninjas in Pajamas, stating that the org hasn't been able to assemble a proper roster for 7 years, and now has the audacity to claim that Sweden basically lacks talent, which is hilarious. Draken argued that during the roster shuffle, Ninjas in Pajamas had the opportunity to retain Raz and potentially sign his Johnny Spitz roster, which, according to him, achieved more last year than Ninjas in Pajamas did themselves. He also pointed out that this statement is pretty much absurd given the existence of players like ZTR, Raz, and even talents from Matty's Sport, who recently participated in the Blast Bounty. So yeah, it's basically about finding talents and willing to grow them. But honestly, who am I kidding, guys? Let's get back to Valve, because Cybershock recently released a huge interview with Min Lee, the creator of Counter-Strike. Like, the creator, the inventor of CS. Overall, Min expressed his happiness about selling CS to Valve, praising them for preserving the core essence of the game. Mr. Goose basically says that Valve's customizations keep the game familiar for both veterans and newcomers, which aligns perfectly with his original vision. Min also shared some amusing details about Gabe Newell. Describing him as a fascinating person, Min revealed that Gabe has a room filled with knives, axes, and other sharp objects, which employees are free to play with. And even though Gabe's favorite game is Dota 2, I think I know why there are so many knives in CS. Mr. Goose also shared this interesting fact. Gabe once tried his hand at Mongolian throat singing. You know, the oya oya thing. But Min admitted that it didn't go very well. Thankfully, Gabe gave it up quickly. Min also shared his perspective on balance changes. If it were up to him, he would limit teams to buying no more than 2 ops. He believes the weapon is already incredibly powerful, and allowing multiple ops can break the game. This idea was inspired by the legendary moment on Dust 2 when Fnatic bought 4 ops in 1 round, which basically Min recalled. However, Mr. Goose acknowledged that this might not be necessary, as most pro teams typically stick to 1 op, with rare exceptions like Faze or Spirit, and even they only occasionally use a secondary sniper. Min also talked about cheaters, noting that the problem has been around since 2002. He basically compared cheating to a virus that's hard to eradicate. While he admires the anti-cheat system by Faceit, he hopes that Valve will improve VAC and Overwatch to reduce the number of cheaters in the game. And finally, Mr. Creator of Counter-Strike revealed his favorite maps. Number 3 is Dust, number 2 is CS Assault, and number 1 is CS Siege. Guys, I mean, I've played on DDoS and CS Assault, but what the hell is CS Siege? Can you tell me please in the comments below, because I really have no idea, honestly. If you want to watch the full interview, just go to Cybershock's channel and do it yourself. It's pretty huge and pretty interesting, to be honest. But now guys, let's get back to CS Esports. Did you know that Snax almost made his Tier 1 comeback much earlier? As it turns out, Liquid showed interest in signing the Polish legend back in 2022, but ESL's rules basically prevented it from happening. The story began at IEM Dallas, where Snax stood in for Ants, replacing Spinks. His performance was phenomenal, leading Ants to the finals and catching off the attention of Liquid. The team invited Snax to play with them at IEM Cologne, but ESL denied the request. According to the rules at the time, a player couldn't stand in for 2 different teams within a 6-month period. As a result, Liquid had to compete with their coach and eventually signed Yekinder. Meanwhile, Snax returned to the bench, continuing to compete in the Tier 2 scene. Interestingly, ESL recently updated their rulebook and removed this restriction, leaving many fans wondering how things might have turned out if Snax had been allowed to join Liquid instead of Yekinder. Now, my dear friends, let's finally talk about Blast Bounty and what happened during the online stage. The very first tournament of the new season. To kick things off, let's take a look at some of the most exciting matches. One of the most intense and exciting showdowns was between Heroic and Liquid, which also featured an emotional clash between Nerds and his former teammates. The match kicked off on Mirage, and Heroic took the early lead as Pius clutched the pistol round solo. Liquid responded with a force buy, managing to take down 4 players. But then came Xfloud. Oh my god, an unbelievable 1v4 clutch. What a play! This seemed to ignite Nerds, who led Liquid to win 3 consecutive rounds afterwards. He also solidified their momentum with an eco ace. However, Heroic quickly retaliated with a 3-round streak of their own, and it was level at the halftime. Switching sides, Heroic secured the second pistol round, but Liquid answered back with 2 full buys. Heroic, forced into a full eco, pulled off a miraculous round win. And then it was followed by a 2v5 clutch in the next round.
He has his work cut out for him here, all alone, even as Pius makes his way over. You need a valiant stand put forward from Youngstart. That's nearly the double. Pius, gonna take it!
But despite the heroics, Liquid fought back. They capitalized on late mistakes and won 3 consecutive rounds and took Heroic's map pick. Next was Anubis, Liquid's pick. Heroic started on the attack and quickly took control, winning the first 4 rounds. Liquid managed to stabilize, denying Pius a 1v2 clutch and evening the score. However, the Spanish sniper came alive towards the end of the half, dominating with surgical precision. Heroic won the first half, 7-5. After the side switch, Liquid attempted to come back. But Heroic refused to let them gain traction. They strengthened their economy and just steamrolled through Liquid. 5 rounds in a row and they took the map. The decider was Ancient, and it began with Heroic winning the pistol round thanks to Tnir and Pius as well. In the following round, LNZ executed a ninja defuse. My bros Twists was outsmarted. You know, pros never fake. But then, Liquid seemed to find their rhythm. They took 2 streaks of 3 rounds, but Heroic delivered a stunning 4 kills in the final round of the half, tying the scoreline. Switching sides, Liquid gained an early lead with 3 consecutive rounds, but Heroic regained control with their first rifle round and stormed ahead, winning 6 in a row to reach the match point. And then, Heroic simply sealed the map with another round. In style, they eliminated Liquid and advanced to the LAN stage of Blast Bounty. An amazing achievement for an underdog, but unfortunately there's some bad news. Tnir won't be able to attend the LAN stage due to visa issues. His current visa starts only on the 26th of January. But now, my friends, it seems like Heroic knew. We all were surprised that they signed Madden as a stand-in, but now it all makes sense. He will travel with the team instead of Tnir. So I guess all will be fine for Heroic. The next fun and interesting match to watch was Faze taking on Pain, a series that many assumed would be an easy win for Faze, especially with their new addition from Complexity, Elige. However, the result shocked everyone. The match started on Dust 2, Pain's pick, and immediately set the tone for a close battle. Both teams traded rounds back and forth, but Faze managed to edge ahead towards the end of the first half, 7-5. They won the second pistol round, but Pain responded with a force buy win and then added 5 consecutive rounds, taking control of the map. Faze had to rely on Elige, who clutched an important 2v4 to stop the bleeding. However, Pain's Snow struck back in the very next round with an incredible quadro kill, basically pushing the team to match point and ultimately securing the map for Pain. Inferno, Faze's pick, started with Elige delivering an impressive performance in the pistol round, but even his 4 kills weren't enough for Faze to secure the round. Then Pain took the force buy as well. Then FaZe Clan regrouped and went on a 6-round streak. But Pain rallied at the end of the half, winning 3 rounds and keeping the score close. The first half ended with Faze holding a narrow lead. After the side switch, Faze decided to dominate and won the pistol round and the force buy. However, Pain bounced back, taking nearly 5 rounds in a row. Then NQZ delivered a crucial 1v2 clutch, which seemed to break Faze's morale. Pain capitalized on this momentum, closing out Faze's map pick and eliminating them from the tournament. Wow, I mean, all of us were shocked. Although I also have to tell you this, one potential reason for Faze's struggles may lie in their recent role changes. In a pre-match interview, Kerrigan revealed that the team has slightly altered their playstyle. Elige took the entry fragger role while Rain was moved to lurker. This shift forces the team to adapt to new dynamics, and the adjustment period may have contributed to their loss. With Katowice on the horizon, Faze still has time to iron out their issues. Let's hope they find their rhythm before the next big event. And now, my friends, the sweet dessert. Falcons against Eternal Fire. It started with a bit of drama on Twitter. Falcons threw some shade, joking that it's good that the games are played online, since no one would need to travel home after losing. Apparently, the Turkish squad didn't take kindly to this and decided to respond on the server. Map 1, Inferno, Eternal Fire spec, and it began looking like Falcons forgot to turn on their monitors. Eternal Fire dominated early, taking a commanding 8-2 lead. Falcons managed to string together a few more rounds towards the end of the half, but the damage was already done. Switching sides, they tried to rally by winning the pistol round, but Eternal Fire quickly regained control. They secured 4 consecutive rounds and reached the map point. And then it didn't take long for them to just take the decisive victory. Next up was Nuke, the pick of Falcons. And here the situation played out a bit differently. After losing both the pistol round and the force buy, Falcons managed to stabilize and denied a ninja defuse. Although the Turkish team responded with a full eco win, with only Centaurus surviving. It seems that the loss on Inferno really fired up Falcons, as they went on a 5-round streak. The first half ended with 7-5 in their favor. After the side switch, the Sheiks secured another 4 consecutive rounds and appeared to relax. That's when the Turkish team started to mount a comeback. Their attempt was so successful that it seemed like Dexter had to turn on cheats to stop them. I mean, someone should tell him to avoid headshot wallbangs next time. Maybe take notes from Senpaius, who prefers body shots. But even cheats couldn't save Falcons. Thanks to insane plays from the top 15 world player, the Turkish team pushed into the overtimes. In the first overtimes, Wikadia stepped up, delivering a quadro kill, but unfortunately it wasn't enough. They were heading into the second overtimes. And despite Tassus's valiant efforts, Eternal Fire emerged victorious. They just sent Falcons and their $6 million lineup home, and now they will prepare for Katowice. As the dust settles, we now know the 8 teams advancing to the land stage of Blessed Bounty. Team Spirit, Heroic, Navi, G2, Vitality, Pain, Eternal Fire, and BB Team. BB Team, however, will have to compete with substitutes, as Boomich and Zorte have also visa issues. Nufani and Chiron will step in. According to BB Team's CEO, they are already working to resolve the visa issues to ensure such problems won't happen in the future. But this situation left many puzzled, with some questioning the planning process. Thorin, in particular, raised the question: why register for a tournament if some players can't attend the LAN stage? And honestly, he has a point. However, the reaction was kinda muted. Visa issues have unfortunately become a recurring problem in esports. Anyways, my friends, thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button, follow our channel, follow our Twitter by the link in the description, and go down and drop something in the comments below. I'm not saying goodbye for a long time, my friends. See you soon.
Давай, мочи.
Помоги. Я вижу. Почему? Фу, ебать.